take it away.
So yes, this is why I am dressed the way I am, because go Gryffindor, go team, go! Today, it's game day, baby. So, let's start off with the new characters. It is...
Wait. You didn't tell them the title of the chapter.
My bad. Quidditch. Hence why it's game day, baby.
This is chapter 11, guys.
Quidditch. This is amazing. I love sports. So the fact that there's a wizarding sport is just ace for me. The new characters, we have mostly Quidditch players because, as you do. The players on the Gryffindor Quidditch team. You've got Angelina Johnson, Alicia Spinnet, and Katie Bell are the chasers. And then you have, we already know the Weasley twins are the beaters, and Oliver Wood is the keeper, and then Harry is the new seeker, which first years never make the house team, and he is, because he's special.
First time in a century.
Sorry, what?
First time in a century.
Yes. I wonder who the last one was.
I don't know. It was 100 years ago.
I mean, it'd be interesting to find out. Anyway, find out. We meet Marcus Flint because the first game of the year is going to be Slytherin versus Gryffindor. How iconic. And Marcus Flint happens to be one of the chasers for the Slytherin team. And
team captain.
Yeah, and team captain. And he apparently looks like a troll, which I thought...
No, I think Harry said it looked like he had some troll blood in him.
Which is implying that he looks like a troll. So, there you have it.
Maybe he has troll features.
So he looks like a troll.
I'm sorry, I digress. Continue, please.
Adrian Pusey is another character on the Slytherin team. And then we have Terrence Higgs, who is the Harry on the Slytherin team. Terrence Higgs is the seeker. Now, we also get to meet what?
They didn't give the first name, but their keeper's name is Bletchley.
Bletchley?
Bletchley. I'm guessing that's his, I hope that's his last name. But yeah. And part of it, when the game's being narrated, it's one of the chasers, I think it's Katie, is going for the goals. And they say that Keeper Bletchley tried to, but they only say Keeper Bletchley. They don't tell their first name. I don't even know if it's guy or girl.
There you go. And then we meet the iconic Lee Jordan, who is the announcer of the game. He's doing the commentating for the game. And he just so happens to be the third stooge of Fred, George, and Lee Jordan. So, wonderful character in the movies.
We love Lee.
Completely understated in the movies. So
we love Lee.
And one more that I thought of, who is introduced at the very end of the chapter, a character named Nicholas Flamel. Yes. And we'll talk about him in a bit. So now we're going to get into the chapter summary. That was all the characters that we meet, really, in this chapter.
All the new characters in chapter 11.
Yeah. So it starts on a chilly November day with Hagrid. Why is he defrosting the brooms?
Because they were frozen and Quidditch is coming up.
I would imagine that if they're so frozen that they break, right? So I guess that's why he's defrosting them.
Child, I don't know. Hagrid's job is the best because he just be doing all kind of weird shit. I mean,
I
stuff.
love that. Yeah, random.
It's so
Okay,
random.
so it's cold. It's November. Quidditch season is starting. Harry's got his first match coming up, and it just so happens to be Slytherin versus Gryffindor. Awesome. Of course, he is feeling a bit queasy. And I don't know how this happens in the fact that it's just November, but if they win, Gryffindor moves into second place in the house points competition in the House Cup.
Don't their house points and the Quidditch games all go together? Isn't that how?
Apparently.
Because if it was just Quidditch and just house points,
Then
this is the first game. So whoever won would be in first place. Like,
yeah.
So it must combine the house points with the Quidditch points for
yes,
the
because
end
it
house cup
says
points.
the house points. Yeah.
Okay.
So that I thought that was really interesting. And so Oliver Wood has been training Harry Potter this whole time, and secretly. He is the secret weapon. Nobody knows who the new seeker is until I guess somebody let it out. And then he gets cornered every now and then, like, you're going to do great, or we're going to walk around underneath you with a mattress because you're going to fall off your broom. So he's a little bit
because
nervous.
that's not interference.
Yeah. Mind. So now Hermione, like we said in the last chapter, and then there were 3. Hermione is now the homegirl, and they're all hanging out on, like, at the quad, I guess, or just some open area. And like I said, it's cold. So Hermione, as we come to find out later, is really good at making these blue flames. They're like portable blue flames. She put it in a jar, and it kind of acts like a little campfire that keeps them all toasty while they're outside. And Snape passes by as they're hanging out, and they're like, we're positive that this can't possibly be legal to have these flames out. So
got to be against the rules.
Yeah, cover it up. And here he comes because, it's the 3 of them. So he has to start some stuff with them. And he's like, what are you reading, Harry Potter? He's like, it's just a library book, Quidditch Through the Ages. And he's like, you're not allowed to have library books outside. 5 points for Gryffindor. Ron's like, I'm sure that this is made up. Okay, this has to be made up. That's bogus. But alas, Harry really wants to take the book away from Harry. Harry wants his book. So he thinks, I think this is so brave on Harry's part to not fear the wrath and just go to the teacher's lounge to try to get his book back. Pretty impressive. And so he goes to the teacher's lounge and knocks on the door, hears nothing. And he thinks, well, maybe he just left it on the table. So he opens the door to the teacher's lounge. Okay, where does he get the gall? Like, hello. And he sees Professor Snape with his robes hiked up and, like, trying to patch up an injury on his leg. And who's helping him but Filch? Filch has some, like, gauze or something for him. And, of course, Snape sees Harry and he's like, Potter, get out of here, right? And he doesn't get his book back, but he does tell Harry and Hermione. I mean, he does tell Ron and Hermione what he saw, because as we come to find out, they do this all the time. There are no secrets in the trio. Like, whatever they see, they just go straight back and tell each other what they see. Anyway, He doesn't get the book back. Sad day. But when he was reading the book, he was so, like, the reason why he wanted it is because he was kind of comforted by the book, I guess, because he was reading about how, in what was it, like 1473, there was a game that literally, so there are 700 ways that you can commit a foul in Quidditch. And in
I
1473,
would
there was,
really like to see that list.
I know. I believe it was 700. That's very
700?
like, I wonder if side saddling your broom is one of them.
I don't know, but 700 is a lot. And I would be really
700.
interested to see what's on that list.
Yes. So, they were enjoying all of that. He was enjoying reading about all of that. And this is where, like, upon seeing Snape's injury and when he walked towards them, also that he saw Snape limping, like there was something strange, right? Then after all this,
can I elaborate on that piece? Because I literally highlighted one quote in that section.
Sure.
And so he comes over, he takes away the book, he takes away the 5 points. And then it says, "He's just made that rule up," Harry muttered angrily as Snape limped away. "Wonder what's wrong with his leg." "Dunno, but I hope it's really hurting him," said Ron bitterly. I love Ron. His sarcasm is top tier.
Another quippy, right? Another
quippy. His sarcasm is top tier.
I love it.
I don't know, but I hope it hurts.
This is one of the reasons why I just picked up trying to learn Japanese more. I can speak Japanese, okay, guys. I just can't read it. And I can speak it very casually, colloquially. Don't try to get me to talk to the Emperor because I would be making many, many faux pas. But I want to read. I want to be able to read the Harry Potter books in Japanese because, well, I have them, but also because I want to be able to see how they translate those one-liners, because sarcasm isn't really a very popular form of comedy in Japan. So I want to see what's up. I'll report back. All right. Now it is game day. The people are walking to the stands. They've got their binoculars. They are preparing to go. Harry's queasy, can't have breakfast. People are cheering him on. People are egging him on, all kinds of wonderful stuff that go along with sports. And they end up, so any of the players have to go to the players' tent to prepare, and all of the fans are going up into the stands. And how adorable that Ron, Hermione, Dean, everybody, like the Gryffindors,
and Seamus and Neville.
Use this is a little bit disgusting, but use a bed sheet that Scabbers ruined. I don't want to know what that means exactly in detail form.
See, you just grossed me out. I assumed he had scratched it up and it had tears in it.
Sure, that's a possibility. But that's why I don't want to know what the exact reason was. Anyway.
I have to believe Scabbers is potty trained properly. I'm
going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave that right there.
He's been in the family 13 years. He's got to not shit in the bed. I'm sorry. I mean,
a rat's a rat's a rat. I don't know.
Gross.
Anyway, they do this kind of cool drawing on it, a bit of a poster, and Hermione does this little trick to make it flash, to make the colors flash, and it says Potter for president, which he's got a posse now. how the tables have turned, how far we've come. Like, I love it.
Good luck, Harry was too basic, huh?
Yeah. Or go team go, right?
Yeah, like, go Harry.
And then the team is in the tent and they're listening to Oliver Wood give his speech. And of course, Fred and George, being Fred and George, are mocking him, like trying to anticipate the speech, which is awesome because they're like, we know this speech by heart, man. We've been on the team forever and we got it. And then they go out onto the pitch and Harry is feeling nervous, but he looks up into the stands and sees his adorable Potter for President banner, and he just, I mean, how can it not melt your heart and give you a little bit of a boost, right? To know that you've got people behind you for the first time in your life. Mm-hmm. People in your the game starts, Quidditch happens, people are scoring goals and whatnot. And all of a sudden, Harry sees the snitch for the first time, tries to go for it. And the troll, well, the person who looks like he has troll blood in him, Marcus Flint, attacks Harry Potter.
Not the friggin' wink.
and stops Harry
cheeky bastard.
I'm not bitter. It's fine. And then, so they go back to doing like the regular Quidditch stuff, and Harry goes back to looking for the snitch. And then when he tries to move, all of a sudden his broom starts like, it's like a horse bucking underneath you, right? It's trying to throw him off. Buck him off the broom. And everybody's like, what is happening? What's wrong with Harry's broom? Brooms don't act like this. And it keeps on just trying to buck him off the broom. And he tries not to move.
And it's going higher and higher.
Yeah, and it's going higher and higher, right? So he's trying not to move because the more he moves, the more it goes up in the air. And, you know, he's further away from the ground and it's looking a bit precarious. The team sees all this. The team starts to, like, they try to get to him and try to get him on their broom. And this is also a bad idea because then it keeps going higher and higher away from the team. And so instead, they just circle underneath him to try to catch him if he falls. And all this time, I believe it's the troll again, correct me if I'm wrong, is grabbing the quaffle and trying to score a bunch of goals while no one is watching.
And he did. He scored like 5 goals while nobody was looking.
Yeah. And I can't imagine that this is legal. But again, I don't know what those 700 penalties are.
With 700 fouls, how is that legal? How is anything legal?
And all this time, okay, sweet little muggle-born Dean Thomas is like, red card. And they're like,
it was what? Ron. It was, of course, Ron, because he's like, what are you talking about, Dean?
What's a red card? And he's like, well, you know, in football, this is British football.
Oh my God, my book says soccer.
Well, yeah, if you have the Sorcerer's Stone, it says soccer. If you have the Philosopher's Stone.
Right. Do you have the Philosopher's Stone?
No, I have the Sorcerer's Stone.
Oh. No, I mean, I think it's interesting. Of course it's gonna, but it was like, oh my God, I didn't even think about, I mean, obviously I know it's football everywhere but here, but I didn't even think about that. Like, I just read in my book, it was soccer, and that's just what it was.
That's the beauty of having other books from other places and stuff as well. You get to see those little things. And also, remember when we watched when we watched the movies here, they were doing the Philosopher's Stone. I don't know, did we watch the Sorcerer's Stone or the Philosopher's Stone?
I feel like we might have watched Philosopher's Stone because I think at one point there was something, and I looked at you and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, because
Yeah,
even in the movies, it's different. They
yeah.
do different takes. Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway, and he's like, red card, right? And then we find out that the reason why, he feels this way is because he happens to be a West Ham fan. For those who follow Premier League football, West Ham is one of the teams, and I think they tied this weekend, which was not, nothing for me. I don't really do I have one of their players? I play fantasy football with my coworkers. Anyway, Serge, I hope I beat you this week. Here's looking at you. Yeah, well, because I'm playing Serge, so go my team, go. Anyway,
Erica for president.
That's right. Anyway, they keep on playing and stuff, and what else do we see? Okay, so finally, he's still lurching around on his broom, and they grab the binoculars. I think it's Hermione grabs Ron's no, not Ron's, Hagrid's binoculars, scans the stands, and sees Snape doing a little something funny. And he seems to be muttering and with very fixed gaze. And when you have a fixed gaze and you're muttering, it's kind of like you're performing a curse. And so she's like, leave it to me. And I don't know how fast her little legs go or how far, because they seem really high up in the air, right? So how is there a connecting place halfway through, or does she have to go all the way down, all the way across, and all the way up? Because that's going to take a long time. Anyway, she goes over to where Snape is. As she's running over, she doesn't care who she's bumping into, right? And she just bumps into Professor Quirrell, knocks him down, like, whoops, doesn't even say sorry or whatever, which is very un-Hermione-like. And, shoots over to Professor Snape, performs one of her lovely little blue flame curses or magic spells, and sets him ablaze. And of course, this stops him from muttering because...
Hold on.
Yeah.
Totally underrated. She sets his robes on fire with her bright blue flames that she does. Once he catches fire, remember, this flame is portable and can go in a jar. She scoops up her flame and takes it with her.
Because evidence, right? Like, I don't know. You could probably, if you can, later on in the magical world, we will find out that you can trace like what your last spell was in your broom, in your wand, and maybe you can trace back who did what. I don't know. So she's like,
but I just loved that little detail that she set him on fire. Once she was sure he was a flame, she grabbed her little blue flame and got on.
Love it. Because, they kind of, I don't want to say they broke her, but the experience with the troll kind of brought out this little like badassery in her that now she's that much more sure of herself in the magical world. She's told a lie to the teachers, whoops, and so it kind of brought something else out of her, which I
also, she now has friends. Yeah. She didn't have friends before either. That's why she was crying in the bathroom all afternoon. She didn't have friends either.
Yeah.
So,
confidence boost.
Yeah.
First. What else? Okay, so they're playing. after this happens, after Hermione does this, now Harry's broom is working okay.
Back to normal.
During all the kerfuffle, he sees the snitch. And they're going at it, right? Seeker on seeker. Attack, go for the snitch. And he tumbles, does this, I don't know, cartwheel shenanigan situation, and stands up on the pitch, not the field, okay, the pitch, and throws up the ball. Literally. Throws up the snitch.
Was choking and coughed it up.
Yeah. Exactly. And he catches the snitch, and Gryffindor wins! Woo! Fantastic. So it doesn't matter that the troll scored 5 goals while no one was looking, because Harry Potter won the game.
I believe they won 160 to 70 or something like that. Which makes me think, or maybe it was 170 to 60.
I want to say that it's to 60 because they had only, in my recollection, they had only scored a goal before those 5.
Okay, so maybe it was like 170 to 60.
Exactly, it was 170 to 60.
Okay, and that makes me think that those 5 goals that the troll threw behind everybody's back were legal. I guess your broom messing up isn't a foul.
We should really figure out what these 700 penalties
I really need to know what those 700 fouls are. I think I have Quidditch Through the Ages. I'm going to see if I can find. I'm going to do some research.
Okay.
I'm going to do some research.
We have to discuss what happens after the game just a teeny tiny bit. Of course they go to Hagrid's hut because that's the place to go, right? That's the place where the kiki happens. So they all go. Well, they all is always, when I say they all, is going to be Hagrid.
The Golden Trio.
Yeah, the Golden Trio going to Hagrid's hut to visit. And they go to Hagrid's hut and they start to discuss the shenanigans of the year. What they saw about Snape, about how he was limping, about the what is it? The thoughts that they have, accusations that they have towards Snape. And they're like, well, I think that on Halloween, Snape let the troll in as a diversion to try to get past the 3-headed dog. And Hagrid's like, how do you know about Fluffy?
I think it was Ron who's like, that thing's name is Fluffy?
My thoughts exactly. How do you name a 3-headed dog?
A ginormous 3-headed dog.
The size of a whole room.
Oh, that's just Fluffy.
Yeah. And anyway, when they find that out, they're like, oh, okay. Fluffy is guarding something. Hagrid says, how do you know about Fluffy? Yeah, he's mine. I bought him off a Greek chappie I met in the pub last year. I lent him to Dumbledore to guard that. As always, Hagrid putting his fantastically large foot in his mouth.
Hagrid likes the taste of his feet. All right, he just doesn't mind it. How about that? Because how easily he just shoves his own foot in his mouth.
Just listening, I am making the most disgusted face I could possibly make right now. Because, ew!
I was just saying the amount of times and the ease with which he shoves his foot in his mouth.
He does.
It's not a deterrent.
2 seconds later, he does it on this page, and then he does it on this page. Literally 2 seconds later, he's like, they're talking about it, and then he says, "You forget that dog, and you forget what it's guarding. That's between Professor Dumbledore and Nicholas Flamel." So again, foot in mouth, Hagrid, always.
Oh,
Yeah. Christina, who is Nicholas Flamel?
well,
Somebody.
we've heard that name before. Why does it ring a bell?
I don't know.
Guess
We
we'll
can just leave it at that.
see. Guess
We
we'll
can
see.
Yeah, we'll find out. That all we know is that he's mentioned. And that's
Okay.
all at this point in time. It's more fun to not tell you who it is so that we can learn who he is as we go along in the book.
But we have
Anyway.
heard that name before. But that takes us straight into my first book versus movie moment.